Alright. I should vaguely be able to do this now. There are jokes about it being a board game run, but then it isn't. Upgrade a card. Obtain a common relic. We already kind of did this, right, on stream. This is the map. Ooh, they did a good job of stitching the map together. Cool. It's actually kind of hard to see what that says for me, but still, very cool. That's the most stitched together I've ever seen a Slay the Spire map, honestly. But I already did all this commentary. Earlier I said, like, every option's pretty decent. Common Relic's probably the best. At least the one I wanted to take. I would be more inclined to take Rare Card if it wasn't Hexaghost. I just think Silence Rares aren't generally the best cards against Hexaghost. They have Slime Boss? Oh, okay, so it is, like, completely different. I guess Slime Boss I would be more likely to take Rare Card. 1,000 Cuts is fine in the Slime Boss Act. I feel like Alchemize is better in a Slime Boss Act. I feel like Glass Dagger and Phantasmal Killer are both better in the Slime Boss Acts. Because you're more about getting one turn of really good burst in the Slime Boss fight than you are about long-term damage. Where long-term damage is like sold by, I don't know, Bouncing Flask, Caltrops, very specific potions, or just lots of commons and stuff. Burst damage is more solved by having one or two particularly good cards at dealing burst damage, or particularly good potions at dealing burst damage. That said, like, Common Relic's still fine. I don't hate it. Alright, and they took Common Relic. Cool. Let's go to the second decision. The second thread is what path should we take? Alright, cool. So we got a Common Relic and it's Nunchaku. I would start at this middle node. I'm not even looking that far ahead here. I mean, I am, but a lot of these get eliminated without having to look that far ahead. I don't want to go to a shop with 99 gold or 110 gold or whatever. I'm just not going to have enough money to use the floor well, so it's kind of a waste of a floor. And if I was going to a 110 gold shop right before an elite, at least I'd like know, like, oh, I have to buy a fire potion or something. By going to it here, like, I don't have the information yet, so I can't. Like, a lot of the value of a shop is that it gives you a lot of different selections to choose the best one from. And if you don't know what the best thing is that you need yet, it has a lot less value. It was played on mobile. Maybe I have to install Slay the Spire mobile. I don't know. Anyway, so this path seems pretty bad. This path seems bad because it forces me into a hard hallway fight on floor 4. I might want a hard hallway fight on floor 4, but I just don't know that yet, and it's far more risk than it's worth. Also, it, like, loses me elite, elite campfire, elite kind of stuff. It forces me into a super elite if I want 2 elites with no campfire. So, like, that's just bad. And this is bad because I don't want the shop already. And neither of them's giving me, like, enough stuff later in the act to be worth going for, so I'm just clicking on this floor. You don't really have to think about much more than that to make that choice, I don't think. You can just click on this floor because the other ones are bad. And this one doesn't have the immediate problems. Like, you can go 3 hallways into 2 question marks, campfire elites. That's really good. You can go 3 hallways if you're strong here. You can go right and take a super elite. It's a good path. All right. There are 424 of these, I believe. All right. We have some lice. This is just defend, survivor. Yeah, I mean, this is just defend, survivor. Don't have to do analysis. Did we defend, survivor? No, we used strike. Okay. Yeah, that's wrong. It did play out better, though. Maybe I'm wrong. We ended up taking 5 damage last turn, right? 3 damage last turn. Maybe it is good. This turn we're taking 1 damage, so we're taking 4 damage total. My line takes 9 damage this turn. The thing is, lice aren't that likely to both double attack, yeah? Just looking at the lice AI. Louse AI. So I know they're both attacking for 8 when they do. They're both 75% to attack. So the chance of both of them attacking would be about 50%. 56% chance. 56% chance that both of them attack. What we're hoping for is for 1 to attack. And if 1 attacks, we are pretty likely to get out of the fight taking 1 damage. Oh, maybe this is right. What do they say? They have a thing in their spreadsheet where it says all of the stuff. Let's make a different scene for capturing the spreadsheet because I have to capture it differently. See their argument. Down here, yeah. We can really dig super deep into the math, and lines aren't always super obvious. Just about as hard as a 2 times louse fight can get. Lice are near max HP. They'll have 75% chance to attack again next turn. With a draw pile of 6, we can do some calculations. Full block. This line we can never kill louse next turn. We've worked out full. Well, what is? Oh, we've done all this. This line has expected damage taken of 3.5. Okay. 1 strike. What's their opinion on 1 strike? This line always takes at least 3. I mean, that seems pretty bad, no? EV of 4.3. Why did they choose the line that had the worst EV? What are they doing? I don't understand. I thought I was going to read a mathematical explanation of how I was wrong, and it's just like mathematical explanation of how I'm right, but they did a different thing. Okay, well, sure. Okay. Confusing. What's next? That's the analysis by the post author. The top comment is 3 columns to the right. So the top comment is the thing that we do. Analysis post is not a recommendation. Yeah, I do not think. So the general thing that seems to have happened here is we're talking about, like, this loses slightly more HP on average, but doesn't low roll nearly as badly. You're not going to, like, low roll badly in a louse fight on floor 1. Like, this is just... The thing I would call it is fancy play syndrome, I guess. That is the terminology from poker. Like, what are we even talking about here? You're gonna, like, take 10 damage? Like, you're talking about giving away, like, 1 HP on average because you're trying to avoid a situation where a fight hurts you inside the spire. That's what they do. All the fights hurt you inside the spire. You can't just, like, do the wrong thing deliberately on the off chance that they won't. Anyway, that's my opinion of that. All right, next. Yeah, so this turn is, I mean, we just play all of our cards. We didn't really need a screenshot for this turn, did we? Yeah, no universe where this isn't just kill the one on the right and then neutralize the one on the left. Alright, so we got through the fight. We have 55 health left. We're being offered Leg Sweep, Tactician, and Accuracy. Only pickable card here is Leg Sweep, pretty much. We got Nunchaku on 8, which is interesting. I wonder if there was more maximization of Nunchaku to be done at the end of the fight, which didn't get done. I don't know. Gold, Essence of Steel, card reward, which we have taken. We are here. We have this path up here. So, like, accuracy works nicely with Nunchaku, but doesn't actually work in any way with any card actually in our deck, and Leg Sweep's just a good card. So I think you just take Leg Sweep. It doesn't mean that we have to take any damage that we get. Like, our deck's too heavily defensive at that point. But I still think this is an easy Leg Sweep. Alright, next fight. We took a Leg Sweep. Cool. You have this very same reoccurring nightmare, where Jorbs does deep analysis of your Slay the Spire gameplay. And don't worry about it, you're going to be fine. So, Nunchaku not being on 9 is a bit of an issue here, but was it that a play lost less expected HP? No, they did a bunch of complex analysis to determine that the line that they took lost more expected HP, and then they took it anyway. Their justification was that it was lower variance in how much HP it lost, which just isn't. I just don't think that's good justification here. There are situations where that makes sense. Like if you're in Act 3 of a run and you're in a fight, you should be probably calculating your chance of not dying in the fight alongside what expected HP you're losing in the fight, right? And then if you have like a line which saves you 3 HP on average, but you die 10% of the time, then you shouldn't do that. Like that's a relevant low roll. But the low roll where you like take 10 damage from lice on floor 1 is not, you don't have to consider that really. You can pretty much just make the play that is clearly better expected HP. There are some weird spots. There's spots where like going to 33 against Gremlin Knob might be a really big deal, where 32 is really bad. Like there can be, basically, if you're caring about variance, you're caring about inflection points in your health total. And the biggest inflection point in your health total is 0, where you go from being alive to being dead. So that one comes up, and that's a very real reason to care about variance versus expected value. But also, there are some other inflection points. Like, depending on what your deck is, you're probably taking a certain amount on turn 2 and 3 of the Act 4 Elite fight or the Act 4 Heart fight, and being above those values is really important. Against Gremlin Knob, you're perhaps taking 32 or something like that on turn 2 and 3, and if you can't kill it by turn 3, then that matters a lot. So there are inflection points in health total other than dud, but none of them are present in that lice turn. Not present in like a relevant way. I would leg sweep right and strike left here. I wonder if I would also potion. Probably. Essence of Steel is not a very useful potion, and if you're getting value out of it somehow, that's kind of nice. We strike. Leg sweep because of Nunchaku. So we put this on 3, we can attack for 15, we full block with Essence of Steel. I think I'm down for that. Why is this here? That's exciting. Not being a multiple of 5 against sentries is sometimes nice. Sure. Yeah, like stuff like that. Okay. What's our analysis? We see how Nunchaku 9 could at least get a free strike in the turn. Interesting that we're not even considering the potion. I don't think Essence of Steel is a very, like, strong potion here. So what did they do? I don't know. We'll find out soon, I guess. Probably the next one will be a lot simpler. We like sweeped right and double defended. Okay, well, this is a very good hand for us. Sure, so like, the only line here is attack, I mean, play everything. Kill this. Full block. I feel like so far, we've made 2 plays I wouldn't agree with. Like, in both fights, we've made plays I wouldn't agree with, and then we've, like, immediately gotten a great payoff. This turn isn't super scary ever, though. Like, if this is a Sender's Bane, that's kind of the worst it can be, and we still don't take damage. If this is a Sender's Bane and this is Strike, we take 2. I think my belief that we should use Essence of Steel is largely based on my belief that Essence of Steel doesn't do very much ever. Reddit clearly better than me. Here's the thing, I'm not going to spend over a year thinking about this run, so yeah, their plays will be better than mine. I think that's just kind of correct. So, this turn has only 1 play. And I assume at this point the fight's just over. What is happening in this spreadsheet? What is this? If you take my advice, we should now strike. Somebody's written an acrostic poem to say what turn we should play. Outstanding. All right, cool. It does feel unlikely that the play here isn't strike strike. Are we considering stalling for an Nunchaku here? Do you think they, like, re-rolled the seed until they found a Nunchaku so that they could play the game in as painful a way as possible? I am not of the belief that it is correct to stall for Nunchaku here. Mostly based on math, but also based on self-respect. Okay, Nunchaku's on 8, so I think we just killed it with strikes. Alright, cool. Quick slash, backflip, acrobatics. Oh, we took a leg sweep. See, unfortunately, because we took leg sweep, we have to take quick slash here. I don't think there's any way we can take not quick slash. If we take in, like, a solid damage uncommon, we could be taking acrobatics. But, yeah, we have to take a quick slash. Which is fine. This potion's good against sentries, I guess. It's, like, okay against sentries. I don't know. I think we could have gotten like 2 or 3 health out of it in that last fight. I don't think it's actually worth that much more than 2 or 3 health. But yeah, quick slash is fine. Does anyone have questions? Does anyone have questions about why quick slash here? I feel like I've mostly explained it. What early game scenario would I instead take backflip in? Like 0. So, silent. Okay, first off, the characterization of Act 1 is that you start with full health, and the enemies don't deal you that much damage. And so the, like, characterization of Act 1 from a strategic standpoint is that you're trading your health to get strong enough to not need to trade health to win fights anymore. You have to do that against enemies like Lagavulin and Gremlin Nob and sentries who are like hitting you really hard, etc., etc. And so in Act 1, you basically like take mediocre attacks over other things. The reason you take acrobatics is that like acrobatics is almost a relic. Acrobatics is an enabler for a huge amount of silence card pool, and it draws a bunch of cards even if you don't have the synergies for it. It's a like putting in acrobatics in your deck is comparable to trading HP to get stronger. It is thematically in line with what's going on here. Putting backflip in your deck is not thematically compliant with trading HP to get stronger. First off, you're not getting stronger, really. Like, the difference between drawing 2 cards and drawing 3 cards and discarding 1 is very, very, very large. Much larger than the difference between gaining 0 and 5 block. Even when the character has, like, intangible afterimage. Like, there are lots of ways for the character to block without gain 5 block written on their cards. And yeah, it, like, doesn't deal damage. Acrobatics can actually deal damage. Like, you can take a sneaky strike and all of a sudden acrobatics is dealing damage by being in your deck. Anyway, I would take Quick Slash. What's going on our analysis post? We're talking about... Here we are, no damage potion and offered 1 mediocre attack versus 2 of Silent's best common cards. For what it's worth, like, Quick Slash is fine and Backflip's mediocre. I don't think Backflip's that good. I think we're maybe overvaluing Backflip there. We're talking about which path we're going on. I don't think we need to do that yet. Like, okay, so I think my priors are just in a place where Quick Slash is just clearly the correct card on any of the paths we take. So we don't really need to be thinking about paths. We're just going to this floor next, and we should take Quick Slash. Backflip's mediocre. Well, Wraith Form is like the character's best card, right? You get it regularly. It makes Backflip do nothing. So, yeah, I don't think Backflip's incredible. There are a lot of, like, large statements here. I don't think that we need to be negative about taking Quick Slash. I think that putting, like, solid damage comments in your deck in Act 1 is just pretty normal. Alright. Oops. There we go. We are fighting Jawworm. We are leg sweeping and applying strike. So there's a lot of like analysis here because we are doing a thing where we're doing 1 floor per day or whatever, and so we're doing lots of analysis, which is fun and fine. I've done that before. But also, like, literally the only line here is leg sweep strike, so you can just not do that analysis if you want. For some reason, is it Valentine's Day? Why are they in love with each other? What's going on? This is Dissolve Vamps effect now. Oh, did we play a turn? What's going on? I'm confused. Oh, we just played all of our cards last turn, and so we skipped talking about it, and now we are here. It's on 15. We're gonna Quick Slash strike. What are we thinking about? Thinking about trying to stack Nunchaku or something? I don't think we need to be doing that, really. Alright, cool. We called Jawworm. We have Nunchaku on 8. We're being offered Outmaneuver, Endless Agony, and Crippling Cloud. I think with Nunchaku and Slime Boss, this is Endless Agony over Crippling Cloud. I would, like, strategically be taking Crippling Cloud here, in terms of, like, how I would like to add to my deck for the entire rest of the run if I didn't know what was happening in the rest of the run. But given Nunchaku, given the immediate elite fights, given Slime Boss, I think it's Endless Agony, and that's fine. Got a Regen Potion 2. Regen Potion pushes us even more toward wanting aggressive cards, and Endless Agony is a slightly more aggressive card than Crippling Cloud, I think. And it looks like they took Endless Agony. Alright, cool. We have the Servant. I can't tell, are we zoomed in on this to show that it's a super elite, or because we're aiming at it? Because I still don't think we should be aiming at it. Like, I think just going this way is very normal and completely fine. We could have taken Crippling Cloud and gone this way, actually, and upgraded it. I wouldn't hate it. Just to let them know it's a super elite. Okay. It kind of looks like it's, like, our intent to go kill it. Anyway, this is essentially unpickable, and that's fine. It's kind of a bad event. Oh, I don't know where we went. What's happening? Do we go right? Alright, hold on. I need to read the thing. That means going right to the hallway to get one more. No. No, I don't know why we're going right to the hallway. We're going right to the hallway because it's necessary to get one more thing before the elite fight. I just don't think that's true. Alright, let's look at the map again. So if we go right, we're either having to take a super elite to get 2 elites, or we're only getting 1 elite in the entire act. If we only get 1 elite in the entire act, there's nothing to spend our health on anyway. Like, Slime Boss we may need a lot of health against, sure. But, like, the analysis that we're doing here, like about how our deck can just straight up die to Lagavulin and stuff like that, sure. Sure. I don't think it's true, but sure. Maybe it's true. I don't know. I kind of don't think it's true. If you're worried about taking a lot of damage in the elite fight, you need some other reason to care about having the health, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're here and you go this way and you take like only 15 damage in the elite fight, so you're still at 40 health, cool. Like what? But why? Like what do you do with the health for the rest of the act? Slime Boss is a bit easier to kill. But like you can go into Slime Boss with far lower health than that with a shop right before it. And also like you can get strong before Slime Boss. You can find a relic that solves the Slime Boss fight for you, etc, etc, etc. I just think this was way too defensive. My understanding of the logic is that we're going right in order to get another damage card before the elite. It's also a hard hallway fight. And hard hallway fights can fucking murder us. So right now we have enough health to, in my opinion, like get through an elite fight. Yeah, we're going to take some damage, but we'll get through an elite fight. The question mark can help us, by the way. The question mark can make the elite fight easier. And even if we don't get anything from the question mark, like I think we take a bunch of damage from the elite but don't die. And then we get a relic. Whereas if we go right, we fight a hard hallway fight. We can also take tons of damage. Slightly less likely than the elite fight, but still happens. And we don't even get a relic. I don't like it. This is a community seed that everybody played. Also, if we're in, like, we're really worried that the elites are going to deal 1 billion damage to us, etc., mode, I think Crippling Cloud over Endless Agony, because you can upgrade it, and then you're doing, I think, substantially better against Gremlin Nob and Lego Villain. Okay, anyway, we went this way. That's all fine. Interesting turn. So we're going to quick slash strike this, and then we're still going to have 2 energy left. And what we do at that point is going to depend a little bit on what we draw of quick slash. But I think that is the sensible start. We have... Oh, that's like the same link. Whoops, my bad. Did we must have like played a turn last turn. Last turn, 1 quick slash. 2, 3. What? 3, 4, 5. Ah, so we killed this and took 6 damage. Yeah, that's probably right. That seems correct. Alright, cool. They're only taking 6, etc., etc., etc. Probably we're doing pretty well now. We get to... Actually, which thing to like sleep is kind of interesting here. I think you like sleep with this. What's in my draw pile? I'm weak. 6, 4, 4. Doesn't die next turn. Also, I draw another strike. I don't know. It's like minuscule. Probably you just like sleep this and you're fine. We did use regen pot, yeah. Read the potions, by the way. If you're going to the question mark over the hallway fight here, having like 2 less health, but having an Essence of Steel becomes worse. So like not using the Essence of Steel as aggressively if you're planning to take a hard hallway fight on this floor makes more sense. So that's a like... That's a thing where like one decision leads to another decision being made differently, and there's internal logic which is consistent. So that just kind of makes sense. Like, I would use the Essence of Steel more aggressively, but would be going to a question mark more happily. And if you're instead going to hard hallway fights more happily, you should be using Essence of Steel more conservatively, because it will be more likely to be useful in the hallway fights. Kill this, that's fine. My thought was, like, if you draw, like, strike and neutralize here, and this already has 1 weak on it, you can keep it weak again for next turn, but, like, that's not a real thing, really, is it? I don't know. If it's a real thing, it's like a minuscule thing, which doesn't really matter. Good grief, what is happening in the in the last screenshot of these things? Alright. Do we not have enough damage to kill this? I thought we did. I'm a bit confused about what's happening in this fight. Anyway, this fight's like not really very interesting to me anymore. Are we done yet? Oh my god, it's still going. Like, it's just killing the slimes. Just like kill them and try to get Nunchaku online. It's not... This doesn't need to take 4 days, does it? It's kind of... It is the point of the exercise. So, that's fine that it does. We take Dagger Throw here and we're happy. I think this is just a pretty easy dagger throw. Piercing Whale would be a nice card to have for like next act, but until next act, we would rather have dagger throw. And dagger throw is a good enabler for everything anyway. Outmaneuver is not even worth much consideration. All right. And I guess we went left into the elite fight. Whoa, when did we upgrade Quick Slash? Okay, so I guess a bit of stuff happened here. We not only decided to take dagger throw, but we also decided at the campfire we were upgrading Quick Slash, which I guess you can make both those decisions together, right? That's kind of interesting. So Quick Slash upgrades from 8 to 12 damage, and dagger throw upgrades from 9 to 12 damage. So that's cool. Those are damage upgrades. I think we're going to upgrade Neutralize or Endless Agony, though. Endless Agony also gets +4 damage off its upgrade, but it has the mode where we like cannot play it the first time we draw it against Lagavulin kind of things. And so it potentially is more damage than that. Is it more damage than that? I don't know. Do we play it more times or less times than Quick Slash in a Lagavulin fight? Do we play it fewer times, actually? I think that upgrading Quick Slash here is like the most short-term thinking possible, which is not necessarily bad, I guess is what I'd say. I think you can upgrade Neutralize, Endless Agony, or Dagger Throw, actually, and all of those would make more sense viewed from a, like, what's happening in 10 floors kind of sense. There are going to be a lot of turns in this run where we play Dagger Throw and don't play Quick Slash. So we're gaining, like, 2 damage right now and losing, like, 30 damage later in the run, kind of thing. But we're also in the part of the run where those values of damage matter and won't be for much longer. So this is the right time to be making a decision like that. And then we didn't go to the Super Elite, which is fine. I have definitely deviated from this run at this point. I'm on this path and playing like a very different run from here on out. I'm going to take more damage at this Elite fight, probably, depending on what the question mark is. I don't know. We already got one of the bad question marks out of the way. We got the 150 gold for a curse thing here, so this is likely to be a pretty decent question mark. I don't know. Another, like, this is a heavy, hard hallway fight, right? It's a hard hallway fight. We already have 2 potions. So, like, if we're getting a potion out of it, we are changing one of our potions for a different potion. Or we're using a potion in the hard hallway fight and then getting a new one. Like, fine, whatever. But that's, like, one of the ways in which our rewards can be good from a hard hallway fight, but our potion chance isn't even high. And then we get 1 card reward. Like, you can miss on a card reward. There's no guarantee that this floor makes us strong enough to fight an elite. And then we're just on a worse path. Whereas the question mark, like there's also no guarantee that the question mark makes us strong enough to fight an elite, but, like, I don't think it's much worse at doing it than the hallway fight is. And also it keeps our health and stuff. So I would be here. And my run would be completely different from here, basically. Okay. Where was I? Here? We're in a sentry's fight. Okay. We are playing our big attacks, and then after we've played 3 attacks, Nunchaku will proc, and we get to decide whether we're defending or most likely striking. And we get to use Essence of Steel. Essence of Steel will get good value in this fight. Seems like the play. Generally, you kill one of the outside sentries first because the outside sentries are synced up. You'd rather be getting attacked for 10 each turn than 21 turn and 0 the next. Generally, you attack the lower health sentry because why would you attack the higher health sentry? You have to, like, be a chess computer to decide to attack the higher sentry instead of the lower health sentry. You have to, like, just have the biggest brain imaginable. There's no human with that sort of computation going on. I assume that this fight is going to take like 7 days to play at least. So what I think is going to happen is... This is a seed which was played on the Spire subreddit over the course of a year, just like by people voting on and discussing different choices. Good grief. Was this a day? Hold on. This is just like remarkable. Okay. Apparently it wasn't. There's a note in here. I would argue that with no potions and no playable cards in hand, passing the turn is definitely acceptable. There's no possible other decision to make besides abandon run. I just wanted there to be a day where they looked at a hand of 5 dazes and discussed it for a day. Yeah, I mean, we're just killing the sentries. That's fine. Sentry Sight has a lot of math on it for what it's worth, but I'm not interested in personally doing the math here. Okay, we're up to the rewards, it looks like. Just computer move is a cool analogy. Yeah, that's basically how you get there. Like, there are moves that a computer can make because it has more processing power than a human brain. And so it can see something which breaks the, like, patterns and heuristics that a human brain uses to make decisions, which a human just would never, ever see. Like, not in, like, you'd have to be really smart to see that, but more in you would have to be able to, like, compute a tremendous number of mathematical things very, very quickly, and humans just don't do that. Yeah, okay, so we're here. We get to take Eviscerate. Eviscerate's very strong here. We already have a Dagger Throw, so I'm very happily taking Eviscerate. And get a Meat on the Bone. Meat on the Bone is a great example of why it is bad to be on this path. There's no way on this path for the rest of the path to turn our health into strength, really. Like, we're just taking question marks on hallway fights the rest of the act. And if the first relic you get is a sustain relic, that feels real, real bad. So, yeah, I'm still playing a different run where I'm over here and fighting another elite now. How much damage did we take? We're at 43 still? There's been a little bit of, like, catastrophizing going on in this run. Like, justification I saw for going right for another hard hallway fight instead of left was that we could die to Lagavulin even with a quick slash upgrade with, like, really bad draw order or whatever. But, like, also, it's possible that you fight sentries and have 40 health left and a Meat on the Bone. So you do have to consider that situation too. Which path would you like to be on in that situation, you know? Thank you for the 3 years, Jean Bart. I appreciate it. It's not... No, you should not be playing around potential low rolls on a win streak. You should be playing, like, the line which gives you the highest chance to win. So if you have, like, a 5% chance to lose, but 95% of the time you win, that's a pretty good line. You shouldn't take the, like, 100% chance to be in a shitty situation but still alive. Just take the 95% chance to win in that spot, you know? Alright. So, we take Eviscerate, we take Meat on the Bone, I assume. And then we go to our question mark, and it is Big Fish. Interesting. I mean, I think it's just max HP. Max HP gets slightly better with Meat on the Bone. We're still at a low enough health total that max HP changes how Act 4 plays. We don't need our health to be higher currently, and Regret is a bad curse. So yeah, I would just be taking max HP here. Possible that you can take a relic, though. What'd they do? They did take a relic. They took an ornamental fan and a regret. Okay. And then we've gone to the chest and taken a Mercury Hourglass. It's a very, very, very good relic. This like does a lot for us in terms of solving slime boss. Honestly, like at this point with Meat on the Bone Mercury Hourglass, I would be thinking about next run already. Did we not take Eviscerate? What did we take? We took another Dagger Throw. So I think we're doing something backwards here. You take Dagger Throw so that you can take Eviscerate when it's offered to you. Like, Dagger Throw isn't a good card, Eviscerate is a good card. And in order to get to play Eviscerate, you need to take Dagger Throw. So when you get offered Eviscerate, you should take Eviscerate. And then, like, Dagger Throw is a common, and also there are a bunch of other commons that discard, like Prepared and Acrobatics and stuff. But also, you can just play Eviscerate for 3. Like, it just hits for 21. Having a high damage card in your deck is a really big deal. If you find a Duplication Potion, you want to have Eviscerate in your deck. If you find a Liquid Memories, you want to have Eviscerate in your deck. If you find Stacko, you want to have Eviscerate in your deck. If you find Acrobatics, you want to have Eviscerate in... Like, there's just so many reasons why you want to have Eviscerate in your deck here. And so few reasons why you want another Dagger Throw. Dagger Throw is another discard engine to get rid of Regret in hand. Well, we got it before Regret. Dagger Throw was picked at the end of the Sentries fight. And then we got Regret afterwards. Alright. Anyway, we're doing pretty well. Like I said, would have liked to have Eviscerate here. These fights are always interesting. I think we're meant to kill Thief first. Would be my guess. We want to go down to 33. Dagger Throw lets us pick more bad cards and discard them. I guess that's true. I wonder what we're doing for the rest of the act. Probably more hallways because we don't have a good card to upgrade. It's another thing. With how upgrades work in this game, you really want like one card which you can upgrade and then it's really good. And how potions work, like Duplication Potion, Liquid Memories, Upgrade Potion, etc. Like, sorry, not Upgrade Potion, Upgrade Campfire. You want to have a card that's like your card, you know? It's your card. You hold its hand, you look at it, lovey-dovey over dinner. It makes you happy. Makes you feel that warm feeling inside, and then for the rest of the run you're like, I have an Eviscerate, and you know that, and no one can take it away from you. But we don't have an Eviscerate, we have a Dagger Throw and a Regret. That's all we have. Yeah, I would try to fight the thing on the right here though, because I want to make sure that I'm not losing my gold. I'm not sure that we're going to this store. I would guess that we're trying to go to a store in Act 2. It's nice if you're strong enough for the Act 1 boss to be able to take gold into Act 2 and get a shop toward the beginning of Act 2, because Act 2's hallway fights are just a fucking nightmare. And if you can justify spending a floor in Act 2 doing something other than a hallway fight, that's just really useful. And I think that with Hourglass, Meat on the Bone, probably we're pretty good against Slime Boss. I don't know, we'll probably need one more potion to actually feel comfortable not going to the shop before Slime Boss, but we're hoping. We're hoping to get there. Curious which way they all went. Yeah, I killed the thief first. I think that's right. And we have really good Meat on the Bone health. Seems pretty good. We do have a Regret, and so we probably don't want to be, like, avoiding killing the enemy. Okay. Our rewards are Piercing Whale, Calculated Gamble, and Bane. Another situation where, like, oh my god, it would be so nice to have Eviscerate on the deck, right? There are just so many cards in silence card pool, which want you to have the payoff for discarding things in your deck so that you can take them and have it make sense. This is either calculated gamble or piercing whale. I would assume that it's calculated gamble. If somebody told me that they had studied the seed for 3 months and it's actually piercing whale, I'd be like, okay, cool. Probably shouldn't be making decisions after seeing what happens in the seed for 3 months, though. Seems like cheating. That'd be how that conversation went. I don't think I have to explain why calculated gamble is a good card. So we want to take 11 damage in this fight, in theory. It's a situation where if I was just like playing around with Slay the Spire, I'd never even think about that. But it is true. Just trying to think of how you'd take 11 damage reliably in this fight. I don't know. Regret actually helps. Yeah, there's some like accessible but very complicated line. Like a thing. Here's the difference between this line and attacking a sentry that's at 42 instead of a sentry that's at 41. A human has a reason to look for this. Like, we know that we can gain 1 health if we end this fight at 33, and that is a thing that makes it actually reasonable that we might look for the way to do that. There's almost no chance that I would ever actually do that in a run that I was actually playing. So, did we successfully play this fight? Not yet. We have no potions, by the way, which is too bad. Alright, we've played the fight. We're still at 44. Took 0 damage. Makes sense. Or maybe we took 12 damage. I don't know. We're going to have to backflip, deflect, and reflex. If we take reflex here after not taking eviscerate, I'll be so upset. I'm gonna cry. Snecko oil, okay. We did go right for extra hallways, which yeah, I think that's correct. Backflip becomes a pickable card if we don't have, like, intangible yet somewhere around this point in the run. I think I would probably take a backflip here. I'm not taking a reflex. Notably not taking a reflex. Because I'm a little bit concerned that they took reflex. They took reflex. Oh. So that we can draw our dagger throws more? I mean, that's fine, sure. We can draw dagger throws more. So, like, it's not an unplayable card. It's not very good right now. And there's not much reason to think it will be good at any point in the entire run, I don't think. The way that you do what reflex does is you take an acrobatics into prepared, and you don't need a reflex. That is like the secret to silent that I have just unlocked for you. Instead of having this card, which you regularly draw and it doesn't do anything, you can instead take like 2 commons and they just do something when you draw them. Yeah. Do we know if they won the run? I do. But isn't it more exciting for you if you don't? Anyway, I'm just in mourning a little bit over, over the reflex here. If you always draw reflex plus prepared, it's like acrobatics cost 0. That's true, but we don't have prepared in our deck. We have dagger throws. So we're going to play dagger throw and discard reflex in order to draw. See, this is the thing. This is the part where my heart breaks, right? Is like, we're going to do that and then our hope is to draw our other dagger throw, I think. Because we didn't take eviscerate. But I'm just going through the stages of grief right now. That's okay. That's fine. Eviscerate's gone. Reflex is here. Regret is here. It does feel better to play your own runs of Slave of the Spire. I would leg sweep, calculated gamble. Here. Is that what we did? Okay, we got our new toy, and we were really excited about it, and then we immediately used it by playing Dagger Throw. Which, like, I respect. I respect putting it in the deck and then wanting to use it, for what it's worth. We should have played Calculated Gamble, because our deck has Endless Agony in it. We should have played Leg Sweep, and then Calculated Gamble, because we just don't need to take damage this turn. And... yeah. Oh shit, I forgot the regrets in our deck. Sorry. This deck's very weird to me. I might have changed my mind then. Yeah, I've probably changed my mind then. What a strange deck. Okay. Yeah, it's probably fine then. I don't know. We like Sweep Jawworm probably. What happens next turn? I tried to play the Seed and couldn't because it doesn't, like, work on PC. It's not the same. The RNG is different. What's happening? Whoa, we played Calculated Gamble? Oh. Okay, I wanna walk you through. I wanna walk you through, like, my thought process so far in this fight. My thought process was like, we should obviously just play Calculated Gamble. We have Endless Agony in our deck. It's going to give us free attacks. We have, like, Letter Opener. We have block cards. We don't have to take damage this turn. We can win the fight without taking damage, probably. And then I was like, wait a second. No, they have Regret in their deck. This is actually really clever. We shouldn't play Calculated Gamble because we can redraw into a hand with Regret in a way where we can't discard it, and we don't have enough, like, energy left to play our cards. And that's really risky. Like, if we draw Regret on a 5-card hand, it's not as bad as if we discard a 6-card hand with Reflex in it to Calculate a Gamble, draw 8 cards, and then can't discard Regret. That's pretty nasty. That's what I was thinking. So I was like, oh, that's really clever. That shows incredible restraint to not play Calculated Gamble. And I loaded the next screenshot and they played Calculated Gamble. I'm just confused. This is the beauty, though, of thinking about every play for a day as hundreds of different people. It was a Calculated Gamble. I mean, it worked. To play this, I'd have to play it, like, on an iPhone or something, I think. Like, that's how they were playing it. And I'm not going to set up streaming from my iPhone or my iPad. Just not a thing I'm doing right now. Maybe they drew the Regret off Dagger Throw? No, I think we saw their hand after they played Dagger Throw. I'm just kind of, like, getting confused by these fights. I think it's better probably to take a look at the card reward than to sit around forever here. We did, for what it's worth, successfully get to exactly 33. Which is pretty cool. And then I think we're even thinking about waiting here to stall for an Unchaku, which is like great, cool. Yeah. Not too hard to set up Aircast to your computer. Yeah, I've done it before. I don't want to do it right now. Being offered Leg Sweep, Sucker Punch, Catalyst. I would be skipping here. Leg Sweep's a great card to have one of, but implicit in the fact that Leg Sweep is good to have one of is the fact that you don't really need a second one. Like, it's good to have one of them because it does the thing it does so well. Once you have one of them, you don't need to do that thing anymore because you have already done it. So, I would not be taking Leg Sweep. Sucker Punch, similarly, it just doesn't seem good enough to make any sense to take. And Catalyst has no support in the deck, so this is my first skip. Is that what they did? I'm not sure how to tell what we did when I go to, like, the next thing. If I scroll down, does it say? But if I scroll down here, does it say? Do we take the one that has the highest upvotes? Is this what we do? Take gold, take Sucker Punch? Yeah, I don't think Sucker Punch is a very good card here. I can look at the most upvoted option. Gotcha. Yeah. I don't think I take Sucker Punch very much between floor 6 and floor 45. But weirdly, I do sometimes take it after floor 45. But yeah, there's like... There's a part of the run where you need a damage common enough to take a Sucker Punch. And then that part of the run stops. And then eventually you get up to a part of the run where you need weak enough to take Sucker Punch if somehow you have missed every other option. Which doesn't happen very often, but that's like the other way that I ever take Sucker Punch. And that happens like right before the boss gauntlet. Because if you're on floor 40 and you don't have weak and you get off your Sucker Punch, you can still be like, oh, I've got plenty of time to find something different than Sucker Punch. That's, yeah, so. Thanks for the 38 months, L skills. Appreciate it. Because people are coming and going to probably have a lot less discipline on skipping cards. So I have experience with having Twitch chat select my cards for me. We did not skip as often as we should. The thing that I found was most remarkable about having like a conglomerate of people pick cards was that in Act 1 we were pretty good at it, and then by the time we got to Act 3 we were just like utterly terrible. Like the stuff where the deck is in a certain configuration and so it requires certain things doesn't matter very much in Act 1. You're just like doing generic stuff in Act 1. But in Act 3 it really matters. And if you haven't been paying attention to how the run's been developing, you're not going to know how to do that. Alright, so we're at 45. Shoop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doo. We get the Cleric for our event. We can heal or we can remove a card. So this kind of goes hand in hand with not wanting to take Sucker Punch. If I'm taking Dagger Throws and Calculated Gambles and Reflexes, I want to remove here. There are varieties of Silent which don't care very much about card removes, but that isn't it. You want to get your cards which aren't your discard engine out of your deck if you're building a discard engine. It's kind of important. Also, there's a regret in the deck. Like, yeah, get rid of regret. So, I think what they're doing here is healing, going to the shop. Sure. I would instead view this floor as like, I can basically get a shop without having to go to one. One of the best ways that I can spend my money in a shop right now is remove regret. Removing regret's really good. Because not only are we removing regret, but we're also getting a good remove on a card which doesn't weaken Pandora's Box. So Pandora's Box is one of our best relics, and one of the worst things about Act 1 card removes is that Pandora's Box kind of counterfeits them. This is a bite of an Act 2 to some extent. But if you can remove a card that isn't even a strike or defend at Act 1, and it's good to get rid of, like, yeah, that's really exciting. So we have a great chance to spend 75 gold at a store here, basically. And I would just do that. I don't think we have to go to the shop. The slime boss fight isn't, like, easy by any stretch of the imagination, but Hourglass is very good in it. We have plenty of damage commons, probably too many damage commons. We have a potion, and we also have another floor, right, to get stronger. This makes us stronger. So, like, I'm just not worried about that. I think we get more efficiency that way. So the two main ways that I think I've gotten a lot more efficiency out of the run so far are not going this way, because that gives me another elite fight. And then here I would be, like, not playing so defensively with health. I would be removing regret, going here, getting another floor worth of rewards, having enough gold to have flexibility in my pathing in Act 2. Because going into Act 2 with 0 gold, like, you don't have control over what the Act 2 path looks like. The Act 2 path may force you into the store. You may be taking a dead floor in Act 2 by taking a shop here. I have a link to the thread in chronological order. I have this. Yeah, and like the deck building choices would be different, sure. Okay, so anyway, we are apparently healing and going to the store though. Maybe that's just out of like a desire to have something to talk about for an entire day. Because some of these days there's not been much to talk about, but when you go to a store, there's so much to talk about, you know? So maybe that's why we're doing it. We gotta take Tactician, right? Are we taking Tactician here? It's so painful to me. It's actually so painful to me. The seed is so strong. We could be just utterly game over strong already right now. I would probably take a Bouncing Flask here. Bouncing Flask is able to deal damage in a way which is very valuable to us in quite a lot of Act 2 fights, and also late game, potentially. And yeah, I don't see much reason not to take it. If you take Bouncing Flask, you probably card remove, and that's that. The other reasonable things to do are like card remove, fire potion, kind of. We don't need to do that with 61 health though. Oddly Smooth Stone, pretty good. I think another big inflection thing here is thinking about health value safety against Slime Boss. Like, I don't think we need this much health against Slime Boss. I think getting a meat on the bone in Act 1 and then resting in Act 1 is actually criminal, and a lot of the people involved in this project, I mean, I'm not very in favor of incarceration, but they should at least examine their choices. If you get a meat on the bone, you need to be working out how to be strong enough to not need to rest. Yeah. Okay, anyway. I don't know what we do here. I would just card remove, but also I would have just card removed at the previous floor and not had to go to a store. So yeah, what do we do? What's the upvoted thing? Oh my god, oh my god. Didn't I call it? Like fucking Babe Ruth pointing over left field. I'd love to buy Tactician here. Gamble semi-infinite are fun. But right now it just bricks 2 out. Oh, but. Okay, okay. Level-headed. I like that. I like that. Seeing the dream, but not investing too much in it. Buy Firepot, buy Infinite Blades, and remove Regret. Then go to the campfire and upgrade Calculated Gamble. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have done that. Would I have upgraded Calculated Gamble? I would have upgraded Eviscerate. From 1 to 10, how frustrated am I reading this? I mostly think it's fun. I don't find this frustrating. If I'm flaming a little bit, it's lighthearted. It's like the game's hard. People have different opinions, and it's really fun to see people like talking about it together. I have not at any point since like floor 2 or something thought that like my choice might be worse than what we've decided. For my narrative arc there was on floor 1. I very confidently said, well, you do this and this and this. It's like the best line. And then they did something else. And then I had this like crushing moment of doubt because I know that people spent a day thinking through all of this, right? They didn't just make it out of nowhere. There must have been math and shit that did this. So then I went to read the math. I was like, oh my god, I'm playing double louse fight wrong on silent on floor 1. What the fuck have I been doing for 8 years of my life? And then I read the math and it's like, well, the line that Jorbs thinks is right is correct by a full 1 HP expected value. But in order to avoid the possibility of low rolls, we should do something else. And then I stopped doubting myself. That's how I learned self-confidence, Twitch chat. And now I'm much more confident. Much more strong and comfortable in my body. What are we doing? Alright. We're fighting Slime Boss. Wait, this is turn 2. What happened on turn 1? Here's turn 1. I want to say, if I walk into Slime Boss with 61 health and this deck, my brain is not engaged in any way. My brain is completely turned off. Because, like, okay, in some runs, alright, if we win the fight, which I think we do 100% of the time. In some runs, it really matters, though, still, that we like keep some of our health, because you only heal you only heal 3/4 of the health that you're missing between acts, right? So if we go down to like 1, then we'll heal back up to 46. I think that's right. That's not how math works, actually. Well, whatever the math is. 48, 47, whatever. And 47 or whatever is significantly less than 66 in Act 2. So, like, yeah, sure, like, we should be trying to preserve health here, even though there's a 3/4 heal afterwards. But this run also has meat on the bone. Like, when we walk into Act 2, we're going to, like, immediately go down to 33 and then heal to 45 every fight. It does... Like... Yeah. So... The point of the exercise is to think about something for a day, but in this situation, my brain would not be turned on in any way. My neurons would not be activating. I would be looking at the cards and collecting them. Sometimes I die to Slime Boss in situations like this because I'm like not even close to thinking. It looks like we had like a full week of the Slime Boss fight where we kind of stopped doing analysis and things a little bit. I just want to say, oh, we used the potion. I would not have done that. I don't know, maybe it was like a large inflection point. I would not have used the potion. Also, we bought the fire potion for slime boss, surely. Fire potions are good against slime boss. Like, Snecko is actually pretty good in Act 2. Isn't it? I don't know. I'm not going to try to track the slime boss fight turn by turn. I'm sure there were reasons for what we did. But yeah, we got through the slime boss fight. Okay, cool. Where's the rewards now? Alright. This is kind of interesting. I think there is an argument for Nightmare. I would take Adrenaline. I just think it would be interesting to find someone who thought that it was right to take Nightmare here and then talk about why together. The arguments that I see are like with Meat on the Bone and Hourglass, we don't care that much about tempo in Act 2. It's okay to be taking damage and stuff. Like, we can tank our Act 2 fights pretty hard and still win the run. And so we think about starting building for Boss Gauntlets, and Nightmare is a better card there. The reason to take Adrenaline is that it's better for the foreseeable future than Nightmare is. And it's fairly likely that we can win the run without Nightmare anyway. Nightmare is just like kind of insurance. It's just like if you reach the end of the run with a Nightmare in your deck, a decent number of decks which couldn't win otherwise are going to win. I think there are tons of logical inferences going on in this entire thing. We got a Thorns potion as well. We like the Thorns potion because against birds it's a no-brainer. I mean, that's reasonable. We do like the Thorns potion. And our boss relics. Now we get up to the part where I want to go play a different game. I do not like how they did boss relics in Slay the Spire. That is something that Monster Train does so much better. Actually, the way Monster Train does boss relics is like quite beautiful. We'll see what Slay the Spire 2's boss relics are like. Maybe they'll be fun. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of brutal. I, with my deck, would be taking a Wristblade here, I think. But also my deck would be different from this deck. So. Monster Train has 3 different boss relics, which are always drawable. And the simplest comparison might be a Slay the Spire always offered you either +1 energy per turn, or +1 card draw per turn, or +4 strength, or something like that. The third one doesn't quite scan because it's using a mechanic that Slay the Spire doesn't actually have. Maybe a +1 energy per turn, or +1 card draw per turn, or +1 relic per elite, or something like that. Like it makes you stronger in a different axis from energy and card draw. But that way, if you're building a deck which wants like card draw, you can always take the card draw one. And if you're building one which wants energy, you can always take the energy one. And there are reasons to build the 2 different decks, you know. +1 potion slot. Yeah, it could be kind of like +1 potion slot, actually. That would be an interesting relic in Slay the Spire. I mean, Potion Belt already exists, but the whole good for bad thing is just kind of eh. My thing with them is they are, more than anything else in the game, a moment where I kind of find out whether I get to do the thing which is fun with my deck or not. Honestly, sometimes you get offered the one that lets you do the thing that's fun with your deck, and there's a different one which is better, which you have to take instead even. We heard about Slay the Spire 2's release month. I believe we heard that it wouldn't be in December. I don't know. This run is consequentially distant from where I would be in a run of Slay the Spire by enough that I actually don't have good decision making anymore. We have, I think, 3 more dead cards in our deck than I would have. We have less gold going into Act 2 than I would have. One of the reasons to have gold going into Act 2 is, like, Ectoplasm's slightly less painful to take if you have 200 gold than if you have 91. It's still bad to take. But yeah, that's like one of the reasons. And Philostone is like fine. I would probably take Philostone. I just kind of feel bad about it. Okay, that's all we did. Philostone is sometimes not that big a deal on Silent, but against our particular deck, it's pretty bad. Or in our particular deck, it's pretty bad, rather. I just said that one of our own relics was fighting against us, which is true. This Act Path immediately is like, this is why I wanted to have 200 gold, you know? I want to be able to take this path. I would like to fight an elite early in Act 2, and this path is like a better path for doing that than the other paths. We get to go this way, fight those super elite, fight that elite. Yeah, it's a pretty good act. Get like 4 elite fights straight up. If we can't go this way, we can still go this way. We get a question mark instead of a store. It's not that much worse. I think it's fine. We're also, it goes all the way back to the floor 2 floor observation that I had like when I was talking about leaving the whale, where one of the things that shops are really good at is once you know what you need, they give you lots of options to give you chances to find that thing. And going to the slime boss fight, we were like already kind of set up for slime boss and didn't really know what we needed because we don't know what boss relic we're getting or rare card we're getting. Like, the deck is largely sufficient against Act 2 elites already, but like, we don't know our boss relic, we don't know our rare card, we don't know the map for Act 2 at the end of Act 1. So when we walk in the store, we don't know how to make the right decision yet because our information hasn't arrived yet. After we fought Slime Boss, we got a ton of new information. We know that we have an Adrenaline in our deck, we know that I have Philostone, we know that our Act map can fight 4 elites. And so that like massively changes what we think we want at a store. Now if we go into a store and we see something like a die, it's actually kind of reasonable to take it. We know that we want a malaise, we know which sorts of potions we want. Yeah. Getting that many relics from elites also is one of the like easy ways to move toward winning a run where we have a lot of dead cards in our deck, because relics don't need to be drawn, they work every turn. And so we can also deprioritize card removes, basically, if we're getting that many relics, is the idea. So we don't have to card remove quite as highly, although we still kind of had to remove regret, right? So, for all of these reasons, I wish we had more gold so that we could go there. As is actually played, I would probably go this way. And there's like a lot of flexibility there. If we're somehow not able to take this elite, we can just go this way. If we're not able to take this elite, go this way. It's a really good act path, like really good act path. Both of these act paths have been incredibly good. This was number 63. Number 64. You're fighting cultist. I think at this point I'm not going to look at the invite stuff at all. I just don't think it's interesting anymore. When you're in Act 1 and you're playing a deck that's pretty normal, like, lots of people will play decks like this. It makes sense to be thinking a lot about every single turn of combat, but once we're playing a deck which is made it to Act 2 already and has a bunch of unique relics, it doesn't make much sense anymore. So, skipping ahead, we beat Cultist, we have 61 health. I think that means we beat Cultist without taking damage. Deadly Poison, Leg Sweep, Slice. This deck might actually need a second Leg Sweep. I wish it was easier to skim through stuff. Does this say what we did every time? I'm just going to read this a bit now, instead of going through every screenshot. So... take... Is this what we do? This is what we do? Take Leg Sweep and the gold and go to the next floor. Play Adrenaline Adjourn if it's in the starting hand. True fact about this game, if you block for long enough, enemies will die. Added to give more reasoning. I value second Leg Sweep for perma weak late game a lot, especially with Phylos down. If it costs an Act 2 elite, so be it. This card provides much output in hallways and bosses. So, yeah, I think if we're going for Calculated Gamble and dagger throws and stuff, we don't need 2 leg sweeps. We just should make our decks so it's able to draw our 1 leg sweep frequently. That's my thought about that. I would just be skipping probably. It's possible I would take a Deadly Poison. We didn't take the Bouncing Flask, and I still think we want a better form of damage against enemies with like 300 health. Anyway, we're fighting some stuff. We're fighting the Avocado. Alright, next cards, rewards. Crippling Cloud Plus? That is so good. Yeah, we just take Crippling Cloud Plus. Which way did we go, by the way? We're here? Huh. I wonder why. I'm sure there's like logic. If you block for long enough, enemies will die. Feels oriented on everything except Act 4. Isn't true. It's not true. That's like a Nightmare Wraith form kind of observation, not a leg sweep observation. A lot of enemies kill you if you play leg sweep. The Burning Elite's funny. I just don't know why we're on this path. We have absolutely no fear of hard Act 2 hallway fights, maybe. Impressive. I would be afraid of Act 2 hard hallway fights. Maybe we want to go right and don't want a campfire. If it's because we want to go this way and get the same 4 elite path without a campfire because we don't have good upgrades and we have a meat on the bone to rest anyway, I respect that. That's kind of hardcore, actually. Anyway, we take the Crippling Cloud Plus. It's really good. Okay. And we're going left? Are we? Oh, we're going here. Alright, so it's not because we want to go this way. Act 2 question marks are good, especially with every basic in our deck. The upgrade all strikes and defends is like very good here. Bites also better than usual because we have every strike in our deck. So yeah, like Act 2 question marks are good, Act 2 hallway fights are not that good. Jinoki, I would not be doing it that way. So we went left, we got in a fight. The fight is against Centurion and Healer. This is like kind of best case scenario for us for Act 2 hard holy fight. So that's good. And then we do a bunch of fighting. And we get through the fight, having taken 4 damage. Not bad at all. We're being offered backflip, dash, and quick slash. I think backflip is pickable here on 4 energy. I would take backflip. Having 1 backflip's fine. We're up to the part of the run where that card is okay. But they didn't do that. They took dash. Oh, fascinating. Their choice here was take a dash and gold, discard fire potion, and take strength potion. So I would not discard fire potion here. Fire potion's a very, very, very important potion for the Slavers fight, which is the hardest fight in the game for us right now. Like, I mean, the heart's harder, but we're not having to fight it. Yeah, fire potion's very important. We could think about this in terms of like having 1 potion for Book of Stabbing type stuff and having 1 potion for Slavers type stuff. And the fire potion is the one for Slavers and the liquid bronze is the one for Book of Stabbing. Strength potion does more damage over the course of a Slavers fight, but it doesn't kill the first enemy as quickly. And that's the thing that we need to actually do. Once we're down to 2 enemies in the Slavers fight, it's not such a terrible fight anymore. Thorns potion is an okay potion. It's kind of very specifically for Book of Stabbing, and I don't think Book of Stabbing's that big a deal here. We have weak. Don't have any piercing whales, but yeah. I mean, it's a good potion against Book of Stabbing. It looks like we got apparitions next. This is not a deck that takes apparitions, in my opinion. Oh, I would also have 71 health. Oh, 66 health is like very meaningfully worse than 71 health, I think. The heart attacks you for 67 on turn 2 a lot of the time. Relevant number. Like, usually you are going to lessen that attack by some amount, though. This hurts me, Twitch chat. Actually, the last time that I would have made the same decision as them was here. No, we both would have taken Adrenaline. Good, alright. Good. We can see eye to eye on something. Really terrified of birds? We can't fight birds anymore. Birds are an easy holy fight. It's because of Book of Stabbing, I assume. So we're doing some apparition analysis. I don't think we need to. I think with 66 health. So, like, a lot of people get very strategic in apparitions analysis. And they're, like, thinking about the heart fight or something. I don't really know. I would say that more than half of the time, the reason you do or do not take apparitions is your current health. If we were currently at 33 out of 66, it would make a lot of sense to take apparitions because it doesn't cost any current health. When we're at 57 out of 66, taking apparitions costs us 24 current health. And that is, like, I think probably more than half the time a bigger thing than anything you're going to think about strategically. So, that is my opinion there. I would not be taking apparitions. We did take apparitions. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, I think apparitions are extra bad to take here because we have every basic, so we can't reliably draw them. If you're going to go to a health value which allows you to get one shot, you should be making sure you can actually draw your apparitions, and we just have every basic and like so much clutter in our deck. We can't draw them. We're gonna get like attacked for 35 and not draw an apparition, and then we just die. Also, we have 2 leg sweeps. What do we need? Or what? Why? But why did we take? We didn't just take 1. We took 2. We like them so much. They weaken the enemy. They block for us for the entire turn. We just play it, and we've blocked. Why do we need 3 apparitions? Anyway, apparition's a pretty good card. I suppose. I would not have taken apparitions here. We're in a fight. I'm just gonna kind of skip through this. The fight navigation has generally been like okay. We got offered die slice and quick slash plus. Yeah, I'll just take die. Die helps a lot in the 4 elite fights we want to take. We've been offered another liquid bronze. Die, start fighting elites. God, imagine if we had a fire potion right now. We did put Nunchaku on 9 successfully. Like, it's still a pretty good turn. I don't even need a fire potion. Does this kill? 15, 27, 35. Are we 1 damage short? That would be so upsetting. We can play every card. We play every damage card. Yeah, that kills. Okay, we took 5 damage in the previous fight. Another reason I don't like apparitions here is we have meat on the bone, by the way. So, like... How do I explain why that makes me not like apparitions? I think if you think about the game, ironically, I'm going to go back to variance, which I didn't like invoking in the like floor 1 last fight. But at this point in the run, you can start thinking about variance meaningfully, I think. I mean, you already could, but whatever. If you think about the game in terms of like good turns and bad turns, like turns where you're like drawing terribly and taking a bunch of damage versus turns where you just draw cards that let you do what you need to do, where you usually don't take very much damage. It is important to be able to survive like 1 or 2 bad turns at any moment. So like potions can do that, like a Gambler's Brew can do that. Your max health can do that. Runic Pyramid can do that in longer fights once you've drawn the cards you need, stuff like that. But it's important to be able to survive a couple of bad turns. And at minimum, it's important to be able to survive 1 bad turn. And our potions don't let us do that. We don't have a defensive potion. And our deck has a bunch of like mediocre attack cards in it, so our deck doesn't necessarily do that either. So if we just get like attacked for 35 here and it's against a Book of Stabbing and we didn't draw an apparition and Book of Stabbing isn't dead yet, like we lose the run instantly. Whereas if we have 45 health, which is what we would have off of a meat on the bone heal, we wouldn't die. And one of the really strong things about meat on the bone is that you can be at a point where you're aggregate plus EV health in fights. Like if you're at 25 out of 66 health going through hallway fights, you're actually expecting to heal off that, which means that meat on the bone is bringing you closer to having a buffer that protects you from really bad turns again. And that's a large part of the value of the Relic. It is constantly putting you at a health value where you have safety from bad turns. But if you take apparitions, it doesn't do that anymore. Like we go to 60 and then we heal to 28, sure. But you can just die at 28. That isn't actually safe. All right, cool. So anyway, we're gonna do a Slavers fight. We win it. I once pointed out that plus strength stavers is more damage than Book of Stabbing unless the fight goes long. Yeah. Milo Stone is pretty bad on slavers as well as on Book of Stabbing. Oh nice, we got another dash. We can take our like 17th mediocre 2-cost uncommon. I assume we take footwork here. Which is kind of weird because we have apparitions. This deck's actually starting to like stress me out. Did we not use a potion? Did we also like not take damage? I guess we have meat on the bone. We might have gone to 14. Not using a potion in that fight is kind of wild. Like, what are the potions for? That's a pretty good turn. Cool. That's all fine. Yeah, I would take footwork, but I don't like the duck. I am considering like tapping out of analyzing this because the deck is so different from a deck I would pilot that I don't feel like the things I'm saying are useful anymore. We've reached a point where like it's so far from being what I would be playing that I wouldn't actually do what I think is right to win anymore. Like, I'd have to think really hard about how to win the run if I sat down with a deck like this, and I'm not sure exactly what choices I would make, but they wouldn't be, like, normal choices for me. And it feels kind of weird to suggest making them because I wouldn't essentially ever actually reach a point where I thought that those decisions were correct. I'm trying to imagine how I would end up in a situation like this. The big thing is there are so many dead cards in the deck. We just haven't removed basics and have put more, like, commons in the deck than I would have. Alright, well, I don't know. I don't know what to do. If I Gremlin Leader next? Hold on. Did we like upgrade something or we upgraded something, I guess? I wish I could like watch this round play out instead of reading all of these posts at this point. We're still only at post 100 out of like 400. We get Specimen. I'm just gonna like kind of check in every 20 posts or something. Specimen, bottled tornado for footwork. Huh. Probably might be statue, gambler's brew, gambling chip. We did take the super elite, taking another hallway fight and taking another elite. You would hope that this Act 2 would be strong enough to win the run. Would you like to see me play the full seed on my own? Well, like, I would have deviated fully by floor 5 or something. This is something we talked about. But also it's on iOS, and I am not going to play a Retos of the Spire on an iPad right now. I'm certainly not going to, like, go find my iPad, find my capture card, try to work out how to stream it. It just seems like a lot. This run took hand drill. I assume at this point they're actually trolling, right? Do you think they spent an entire day to misclick? Upvotes were made pretty much every decision, yeah. Sometimes there were, like, turns of combat where there was only one thing to do. Or sometimes I think an upvoted decision was about more than one decision. It was like, play the turn of combat this way. Also, for the next 3 turns of combat, if it's obvious, just do the obvious thing. That kind of thing. Alright. Well, that was fun. I believe they beat the heart with 1 HP, which is like epic. It's pretty cool. I'm tapping out. I'm not strong enough. Swati, thanks for the 69 months. I appreciate it. Oh, they lost against the heart by 1 HP? God. The second leg sweep wasn't enough.